Greetings, folks. This is the Great Scott, and welcome to the Great Scott's Roundtable. And today we have a roundtable for you that will have you seeing, in some cases, double and in some cases, triple. I've made no secret of the fact that over the past 13 years, me and my writing and producing partner out of Washington State, Mr. Sean Justice, have been trying to get a movie made called Twin Master. Well, when you do 13 years of pursuing that, you end up stumbling on to some very talented twins and triplets over the years. And at one point, you say to yourself, man, it would be great if I could introduce some of these people. Well, today, I'm happy to say that we have not one, but two singing groups that I discovered during that search that were nice enough to come here today and talk with each other. And I'd like to introduce them to you. First of all, let me just give a nice big hello to everybody. How are you all doing today?
Hi, doing good.
Hi. Okay, hold on, wait a minute. I'm sorry, I found the wrong button. This is what happens when you. There we are. How are y'all doing today?
Good. Hi, doing great. How are you?
Folks, this is what happens when you do a Zoom update right before you go on air. Unfortunately, the buttons are all different, and now you're making it up as you go. Okay, let's start with the ladies who we have here that you can see that there are three of. This is a singing. Today's category is singing sisters. What is it like to sing with your sister? And first of all, we have a group of, as you can tell, triplet sisters out of the Philadelphia area. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Okay. They call themselves Barbadoro, and reading from left to right, we have Christine, Cynthia, and Carolyn. How are you all doing?
Hi, we're doing great. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, we're doing great. Thank you.
Well, it's very nice. It's very nice to have you here. And you guys, your genre is mainly pop singing, correct?
Yes.
All right, we'll talk some more about that in just a few minutes. Next up, we have two very nice ladies out of the Texas area, and they are not only accomplished country singers, but they also have a very successful photography business. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Say hello to the Rankin Twins, also known as April and Amy. How are you ladies doing today?
Hi, we're awesome.
We're great.
Well, it's nice to have everybody here. So let me get everybody back to, there we are. Okay, now what I would like to start with is, as I mentioned briefly in the introduction, one question I get asked a lot is this, and I might have explained this to you both before, is it's crystal clear to a lot of people. Some people have accused me of being obsessed over twins and triplets. Some people have accused me of having it as a hobby or whatever. And I've lost track of how many times people have asked me the question, okay, Scott, where does the twin fascination thing come from? And the truth is, I really can't give a better answer than what I'm about to say right here. There are just some things that people are fascinated by. And most of the time, it's something that they themselves have never known. All I can tell you is my mom's cousin had twin boys. Their names were Jay and Dave. They were about 4 years older than me. And I was fascinated by the fact that they looked alike. And that carried over even after we went our separate ways. And I just, in some ways, being, a man of God, I will look at, I'll use Amy and April as an example there. I look at the two of you and I go, how do you have her face, but you are not her? You know what I mean?
We think the same thing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, so I just, some people look at some people like to watch the sunrise. Some people like to watch it set, and they're just in awe of the creation. That's just how I get. That's just how I get. And unfortunately, sometimes it can get misread as something else. I would like to state to everybody out there, for the record, if any of you are looking at this going, wow, Scott, you're lucky you're with 5 very good looking ladies. Yeah, they're all happily married and they all have kids. Okay. So we're not, that is not what this is about. This is about, so here's one thing that I wanted to ask you guys just to start off, because I want both groups to tell our viewers a little bit about yourselves. Okay. I come from a family where you're looking at the only performer in the entire family. I got 2 younger sisters. I got great parents, wouldn't trade them for anything, but they are all pretty introverted. And if we ever tried to go into business together or work together, we would probably kill each other. You know what I mean? We always keep the family. So I've always been fascinated by performance groups of family, twins, triplets, or just regular siblings. It's just kind of always been a fascination of mine. And I think one thing that I understand that I think a lot of people don't understand is, April, Amy, Cynthia, Caroline, and I keep on saying Caroline. It's Carolyn. Sorry about that. Okay. Cynthia, Carolyn, and Christine, you're triplets. But contrary to what some sci-fi shows of it, you don't think as one. You're 2 people. You're 3 people. You know what I mean? You're individuals. And there have been cases where there are some people in show business who have identical twins who are not in show business. One that I can think of right off the bat is the guy. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Napoleon Dynamite. But the guy who plays Napoleon, he has an identical twin brother who's not an actor.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, his brother is an animator. As a matter of fact, his brother worked on the movie Monster House.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When multiples are your hobby, these are the things you find out. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Marvel series Agent Carter. Okay, you know Agent Sousa, the guy who walks with the crutch. He has an identical twin brother, but his twin brother is in real estate. He's not an actor either.
Oh.
So there are cases. So I guess I just wonder, I would like you both to maybe tell our viewers a little bit about how you got started with your respective groups. And I mean, was it something was there a moment when you said, hey, let's both do this together? Let's, was it always kind of a given? I mean, talk a little bit about how both your groups got started. Rankins, why don't you go first, if you don't mind?
Yeah. Well, you probably can start it.
I mean, I feel like April and I have always sang. Growing up, we loved to karaoke, and we'd go to Garner State Park dances and dances on the weekends with our parents and stuff. And we always loved like your early, like, I guess early 90s country acts, right? So we loved to sing, but we never wrote our own music. And so we basically assumed that that's what you had to do to be professional artists, right? But in college, we went to A&M. I ended up running around with a guy who was in a band, and he did this Texas country scene, and they wrote their own music. And he got me my first guitar, started guitar lessons, and I still just didn't have anything to write about. And at the end of my college career, I was dating this guy, and right afterwards, he broke up with me. We were living in Dallas, working our first day jobs in corporate America, and and then all of a sudden,
and you were moving in with him. They were supposed to move in.
It was one of those really broke my heart. But the best thing ever, of course. And I moved back home. Well, I moved back with my parents, and my mom was like, well, what am I going to do with her? So she happened to find this guy. This is a long story, y'all, but
no, it's okay. It's okay.
Found this guy who was playing guitar at a winery in Katy, Texas, and asked him if he gave lessons. And he's like, not really, but I mean, I can, And so I started taking lessons with him. I played like a couple Taylor Swift cover songs and some other cover songs with him and his friend on keyboard, where it was like the drums and everything with it. And that was like the start of it for me. I moved back to Dallas and moved in with April, and then wrote my first song. Nice. And then we started playing. We found an email in 2000 and I don't remember. It said how to form a band that I wrote to April. Just Googled how to form a band.
I think it was a no-brainer. Like Amy wouldn't have done it by herself.
No. It's weird that I even did that show without her, now hindsight.
Yeah.
It just kind of got us, it kickstarted things for us. And so in college, we won a lookalike contest, a Dixie Chicks lookalike contest, and ended up getting to go.
Who we were obsessed
They're
with.
like, they're a big deal for us.
Yeah.
And it was like the coolest experience ever. And April and I just stood there in the front just going, we could do this. We could do this.
That's so cute. You guys are adorable. That's awesome. And that's great. I love that story.
That's why I wanted to play mandolin.
Okay. So Amy, you were
great.
So technically you were the instigator, Amy.
Yes.
Definitely. I'm more introverted than Amy. Yeah. Like I would have never.
You would have never done it.
Weren't for her.
It's funny that you actually mentioned the Dixie Chicks, because one of the other groups that I reached out to is a group called Taylor Red. You should check them out. They're 3 redheaded identical triplets who sing country as well.
Yeah.
No. Believe me, one of the reasons that doing one of these roundtables was a problem was not that I didn't have enough people. I had way too many groups that I had discovered. When you're a self-employed person who's basically trained to network, I basically twins, triplets, or regular people, I save the contact info for every professional entertainment group or person I ever get my hands on, because you never know. Because you never know when you might need to open up that little entertainment black book and need somebody, especially when you're always planning a project. So let's go over to Barbadoro. Now, is Barbadoro your last name, girls, or is that a name of the? It is your last name.
Well, we're all married, so it's a maiden
name.
So
it was my mother's maiden name. Yes. And we just felt like we went through a lot of group names, and we were like, why don't we just be who we are? Yeah. So that's so we just ended up to be Barbadoro. But yeah, how we got started, it was ever since we were little
we
kids.
were 5 years old, and my mom, I think wherever she took us, she could not get us in the business. It was we were in an
I guess it
she
started
picked
at
up
the
my
airport.
dad at the airport.
Yeah.
And we were in our triple stroller, and I think we were really young, like 3 or something. Right?
Yeah, we might have been 3.
And a manager saw us and an agent,
Yeah.
and the manager.
And she was
And
like, I could get your girls
I love your
in
triplets.
television.
You know,
And,
we're only 3 years old, and you know.
and my mom's like, no.
She's like, I'm not driving to New York. Are you kidding
Yes,
me? Get out of here. The
but my
lady
grandmother,
called, and she
kept calling.
she was the nicest person, and we did end up signing with her. But she called for like almost a year, right?
And my
Right.
grandmother finally said, Maria,
Just give it a shot.
let's go and take them and let's try. What do you have to lose?
Right.
And then shortly after that, we booked The Witches of Eastwick.
We played Michelle Pfeiffer's daughters in the movie, and Jack Nicholson, Cher, Susan Sarandon. And that was
My
kind of
God.
our start in the
That was our
entertainment.
start.
That was our
But
start.
then
yeah.
we there was a show. I don't know if you remember the McGuire sisters, but they had this really big show in Atlantic, City, and
yeah.
so we went and saw their show, and which was really cool. And then
And they called us up on stage. We had these
Yeah.
light little pink dresses on, and they had light pink dresses on.
So it's so crazy.
And they called us up on
Wow.
stage, and we sang this fishy song that my grandpa taught us. And we were, and we sang the fishy song on
We sang
stage.
the fishy song on
with them.
stage.
And my mom couldn't believe we actually we weren't like shy. Like it was a
Yeah.
whole lot. And then
Yeah.
after that,
got up and sang a fishy song.
Phyllis McGuire wanted to train us and get us, and develop us. And my mom just didn't feel like it was right at the time.
Right.
But she inspired my mom. So my mom got us singing lessons.
And then after that,
And after that,
kinda
we
how it
just
got started.
We started singing, and we've
That
been
was-
singing ever since.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. And we started writing and sing.
yeah, like,
And
you know.
writing is so much fun.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Once I started writing songs,
Yeah.
it's like addicting. It's like you have to write. Oh, we have to write a
So
song now.
addicting.
So,
so many.
I
Yeah,
admire
you
people who
just-
can write their own music. My best friend Ben is a great singer. He actually, I mentioned my Mario show. He actually plays Luigi in my Mario show, and he writes his own music. And the best I've ever been able to do for songwriting is do a parody or a lyrical adaptation. Put words to a tune that already exists. Kind of a Weird Al Yankovic type of thing.
You've done that.
So
I
anyway.
like that
That's
too.
fun.
Oh, incidentally, speaking of original songs, I did start April and Amy. I did start listening to your Good Vibes album back when. One thing that we should mention to people is I appreciate y'all being here, because I think all 5 of you have gotten over COVID within the last week or so. Is that right?
Yes.
We're all everyone's feeling great.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. This for those of you out there, this roundtable was supposed to be about 2 weeks ago, but one of the people here was not feeling too well at the time, so we postponed it until now. But in between that time, I actually found Amy and April's Good Vibes album on iTunes, and I have been listening to. I actually have a playlist on my phone that is actually called Sibling Bands, and
cool.
everything. Oh, we lost the video from from Barbadoro. We lost the video.
Sorry.
Oh,
You're back.
we got it. Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Apparently my phone said it's gonna die. I got
Phone's gonna die. We're just grabbing the charger.
Grabbing the
Sorry,
No
guys.
problem. No
It's
problem.
usually my problem.
We were ready for that, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I'm due for-
everybody. Here are some of the bands that are on my sibling band list. We have Hanson. We have the Bacon Brothers. Kevin Bacon and his brother Michael who sing together.
Oh.
We have
that's
some of the, we have the Harp Twins, who I invited to this, but I might be able to. I don't know if have any of you guys heard of them? You should check them out. They're 2 concert
really
harpists,
cool.
and they actually play. So Amy, April, you guys have heard of them?
Well, I think I know because we talked about it.
That's
Right.
right. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I know, totally know them.
Yeah. I invited them first because I actually met them. They were okay. Is the phone all plugged in? Are we good?
We're good.
We're good, yeah.
Good. Yeah, but anyway, I think probably I just want to let the Rankins here know real quickly. I think "Getting Over You" Train is my favorite song of yours,
Oh,
because I just I like the I like a lot of the train analogies, and you even have I think I can from the little instrument.
Oh, we added as many as we could in that song.
Man, we wrote that with a guy named Dustin James in Nashville, and he's literally one of my favorite people to write with. And we would go there for years, and we'd write with him. And then when it came down to like what's gonna make the album, for whatever reason, like we have like a whole album's worth probably of songs that we have with him. And I'm so glad that one made it, because I can't remember if that was the first one we wrote with him. We were like, yes, this is so amazing. But yeah, I was very happy that one made the cut. It's fun.
Yes. Now, one thing that I wanted to, so I asked you guys about how you got started in your music and such. This is one thing. Now, this is not the first time that I've had multiples on my show. I did one round table with 3 sets of identical twins. They were all in different boxes, though, at the time, because they were all in different states or different cities or whatever. So, and one thing that I asked them that I will ask you girls, and I'm sure that given, if we're talking about your whole life here, there could be some. Does anybody have a case of mistaken identity story that is somewhat funny, or do you not?
Oh yeah.
Quite a few.
Absolutely.
Well, then Barbadoro, do you have one you could share with us, please?
Share.
Yeah.
How many do we want to
Well,
share?
when my husband, my boyfriend at the time was picking me up for a date, it was our first. No, it wasn't the first date. It was probably like the 3rd or 4th date. And Cynthia answered the door, and he thought it was me, and he kissed her. Hello. And she was like, "Oh, geez."
I was like, "Oh, hi."
Thanks. She's like, "Well, I'll go get Christine now."
And then he got bright red.
And it was like,
he was so embarrassed.
Oh man.
I felt really,
and yeah.
really
But
bad.
what about happens a lot?
And you married him anyway. That's a good thing.
There's another one.
Another
I
story.
find really funny.
This is crazy. This is like a movie.
Okay, this is a
I was out with my boyfriend at the time, and
This is confusing story.
We were just out at a restaurant having dinner, and somebody saw me that knows her husband, and Christine, but did not know Christine was an identical triplet, and saw me with my boyfriend and thought that I was Christine cheating on the boyfriend. Right. He gets a call and was like, "Dude, your girl's cheating on you. I could see her right now. She's with someone." And Pat's like, Christine's right here sitting next to me. She's an identical triplet. Yeah. I was like, oh
Yes.
my God.
That
I
is
didn't
so-
know she was a triplet.
And we go out, we just forget that we look
forget we
alike.
look alike.
I
And
know.
then
It just
right?
happens. I don't know.
Yep.
And that's happened a couple
That's
other
happened a
times
couple
too.
times.
Yeah.
Well, what I find also right up there with the what I said earlier, about how do you look like her but you're not her. One of the things that I have also noticed is with sets of twins that I've actually gotten to know, if you start to get to know them, and it's hard to describe to people, if you're looking right at them, you can start to tell them apart. The little slight, like for example, I mentioned The Reconciler, the movie before we started. Jeremy and Jordan Steele, who are 2 twins that I work with, they're in that movie with me. And I've known them for years. We kind of gone our separate ways, but I had known them for years at the time we did the movie. And I don't think they'll mind me mentioning this because I've said it before. And if you know them well enough, if you're looking right at them, you start to realize that Jeremy's face is just like that much wider than Jordan's face is just like that much wider than Jeremy's. So if you look at both of them, you're like, oh, that's Jordan. That's okay. All right. You know what I mean?
There's
That's
always
really
a
funny.
difference. It's trying to figure out who had that difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh wait,
what's
somebody
that?
has a mark here, but which one was it that has the mark? Like,
Right. Right. Like for example, like I could say things that I'm noticing just talking to you all, but I don't want to put you all on the spot, so I'm not going to say those things. April. Yeah. Oh boy. April and Amy, over to you. Do you guys have any mistaken identity stories in your life that you could share?
I mean, my husband slapped her on the booty.
I mean,
a couple times.
no, he still does.
I mean, he still does, but
He
now it's
still
funny.
does.
Like he just does it because
He just walks by if we're like all on vacation or something together, and he'll just be like, and then he'll see my reaction and go,
Wrong girl.
and I'm like,
I'm sure does it.
That happens to us too.
Yeah, happens to us too. Yeah.
Have a couple drinks, and then all of a sudden, you don't know which wife is yours. And then
Especially from the back. You know?
see the face, what's going on? That's funny. The perspective of the husbands, right?
Yes, right.
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
April and I lived together in college, but we went to 2 different colleges for a little bit. And so
And that was the only time. We have always had the same groups of friends. I mean,
Yeah.
forever, except in college, because I went to a junior college before transferring over to A&M.
And then when she got there, she'd be walking on campus and somebody would say something to her, like wave to her. She wouldn't really acknowledge. And then they'd ask me, like, why didn't you say hi to me? I said, oh, I have a twin. And they always thought that was such a lie. Like it was such a cop out. I'm like, no. I really do have an identical twin sister.
And they think you're being mean. So
Yeah,
for
I
the
told
rest
Ted
of
to
our,
tell her, like, you have to start being nice. Just pretend that you know them.
I'm like, that's lying. I'm not gonna lie.
Just pretend.
So finally now,
We do
yeah,
that.
I just
We
say hi.
pretend. Like
Hi.
when people mess us
All the
up or
time.
whatever,
We do
Oh,
the
yeah.
same thing.
we just pretend and go along with it. Oh, hi, how you doing? I'm like, Christine, who was that? I don't know.
I don't know who.
I'm like, fill me in. I don't know who that is.
I know
But I just
everything
pretend
about
like I
her,
know
so
them.
I'm
You
sure
know,
I can
people-
answer whatever they ask me.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Right. It's true.
You know-
Yeah, you just go along with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I can be Christine. Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be Cynthia.
Yes. Sure. Sure. Yes.
No problem.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I should, a lot of what you're talking about, I have what's called a trigger happy memory. Some people will say something and I'll think of something. One documentary I highly recommend seeing is Three Identical Strangers. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but it's a documentation about 3 brothers who back in the 80s had been separated, who are identical triplets, had been separated at birth and accidentally discovered each other at college years later. Only
Yeah.
later to discover it was done on purpose as part of an experiment that was borderline Nazi stuff. And not only that, but they were the only triplets it was done to, but it was done to a lot of other twins as well.
Oh, that's
And the i-
horrible.
And the idea was to see if nature versus nurture would do anything. And
Yeah.
the results were never published, probably because they would have gotten sued, and probably because they didn't do the results that people wanted, to be honest with you. But it's a very interesting documentary. One of the 3 brothers sadly has a tragic ending, but I won't tell you what that is. But it's called Three Identical Strangers. I highly recommend it. It's one of the few documentaries I've checked out. Incidentally, one of the things that I found fascinating in my research or whatever is that you all have kids. How many kids do each of you have?
1.
2 each.
That's really good.
Oh my gosh, your parents.
I know they probably love it.
They probably do.
Oh yeah, they're all.
Yeah.
My mom's like, oh my gosh, I can't watch all of your kids at the same
Don't come
time.
over at the same time.
Well,
We
because
all
it's
had
like-
kids at the same time. So
It's
they're,
like the
they're
Brady
all
Bunch.
there's
3
there's-
boys and 3 girls.
there's
and
6.
it's like,
Yeah,
Right.
there's 6 kids 5 years and under.
together with Brady
Oh,
Bunch.
that's awesome. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Do you each have
Nuts.
a boy and do you each have a girl?
Yeah. Oh, so I have a girl, she has a boy, and they're 12 weeks apart.
Okay.
Oh,
Isn't
Yeah,
it nice
Barbara-
that they're so close? Oh,
Barbara,
that's
do you each have? You said you each have 2 kids. Do you each have a boy and each have a girl?
No.
Oh,
Oh, no.
no, but we have a
She did.
combination.
We have a
I
combination.
have a boy and a girl.
I have 2 boys.
I have 2 girls.
Oh,
So we're the
Three
Brady,
boys.
so we're the Brady Bunch. 3 girls.
oh my gosh. I
And they're
love it.
all under the age of 5.
They're 5 and under.
5 and under. The
And
youngest is 16 months
What were we thinking?
old. Oh my god.
God.
Like we get
Do it
when we get
together.
it's
That's what
like,
you're thinking.
You have like a daycare when we get together.
Yeah, it's like
Oh my gosh.
running around everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
I
so
asked
much
that
fun.
question.
it's fun. There's never a dull moment.
No, and
all
then-
the cousins
Yeah.
can play,
Yeah.
and
You know, it's
there's
we're
nothing-
having a ball.
there's nothing like family, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Good
The
time.
reason I asked was because I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the Dom triplets. Have you?
I
Yes.
have.
Yeah, Jacqueline, Erica, and Nicole. They were one of the first sets of You know what's funny? I've noticed this. With the exception of the brothers from Identical Strangers, most of the identical triplets I've stumbled upon in my research have been ladies, not men. I don't know why that is. I've yet to accidentally discover a set of identical triplets that are guys. But
Maybe-
anyway,
I don't know, but I feel like guys aren't as close as the girls for
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
reason. I always felt so maybe it's
Yeah.
because they just all immediately did something separate
right.
or something different. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
feel like that's
Yeah.
all right.
Anyway, Jacqueline, Erica, and Nicole Dom. Erica's actually married to Dr. Phil's son, Jay McGraw.
Get
And They were all on the doctors. They all ended up getting pregnant around the same time, and they all had kids around at the same time. They first got on my radar when I was very young, and they were Teen Magazine's model search. Now, many years later, they went down in history. They went down in history as the very first triplets to be in Playboy, but we won't get into that. Yeah.
That's how I know them. That's how I know them.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
Yeah, but anyway, they have 2 kids each. They have 2 kids each, and they all had girls first, and they all had boys second.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, it was like, if that's the same case with Barbadoro here, I'm gonna be like, are you kidding?
Oh, that would be well, they had their kids are 9 days apart. Our first 2 are 9 days apart. That was that was crazy. Yeah.
Something else interesting. You guys all probably know this, but I'll just mention for our viewers. This is something that I found fascinating that I never thought of before. I'm going to use April and Amy here as an example to make this easier. Now, who has a boy and who has a girl?
April boy,
Amy girl.
Okay. So Amy, let's say that your daughter and your son, for whatever reason, had to be confirmed that they were related at some point, and they did a DNA test against each other. Because their moms are identical twins, that would actually fool the DNA test. The test would come back saying that they're half siblings rather than cousins.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Identical DNA does that. I'm not sure. I'm guessing, Barbador, you're shaking your heads like you guys have heard this before.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's fascinating.
It
really is.
Our kids are more
And your kids, they're more like half brother and sister, rather than just
Genetically,
cousins.
they are actually.
Genetically, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because we have the same genetic.
But then we always thought, like, what if we married identical triplets, guys?
Oh,
Wouldn't
I
it be
know.
crazy? Or if you guys did twins,
That would
our
be
kids
crazy.
would be brother
know-
and sister, like genetically. That would be really crazy.
There
I
were
know.
2 sets. There were 2 sets of identical twins who were on To Tell the Truth, who were 2 married couples. And the reason that they were on To Tell the Truth is because one of them hit a 1 in a million shot and had identical twins themselves.
Oh.
No.
Exactly.
That would be
Ah, if like we wished we could have had twins.
I
I mean,
know.
now we're like, what were we thinking? That would have
That'd
been
be
so hard. But
yes. No, I'm glad I only had one at a time.
Yes.
And I don't know how my
How
mother
my mom
did it.
right? How did
I
your
know.
mom do it?
Having
because she was
3.
23 years old or 24 years old.
Yeah, that's about when my mom had us. It was like, I just had 1, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my.
And then you
gosh.
have a baby, and you're like, what do I do?
They sent me
I
home.
don't know about you.
What do I
I was
do?
very
Yeah.
like, okay, it's a baby. I'm like, I don't know. Just, you know, you did it. You figure it out as you go along.
And each kid is different. Like,
Yeah,
you guys
each
only
kid-
have 1. If you guys have more,
Yeah.
like the next kid is completely different
Different than the
than
other
the first.
one.
What you did with the first one doesn't work for the second one. So you got to figure it out all over again.
We always wondered like why our friends didn't tell us. Like, why didn't you tell us about all these things about having a kid? And then I thought about it now and I'm like, because they didn't know any better than us. And
Right.
your next one, everyone is so different. So therefore the advice that you give can only go so far. So
I would have
understand
loved
that.
for someone to be real and just say, this is what you should expect. Like,
Right,
there's
really
no book that explains anything that I went through. Like, can anybody
Right,
tell
because
me?
you read all these books. and
Even
you read all these
after you
things
have the
and-
kid, there's other stuff that happens, and you're like, well, I didn't know. Yeah. It would have been nice if someone filled me in a little
It's
bit.
true,
It's
right.
true. Why didn't people just tell me?
Yeah.
Why don't you? I will never sleep
Because
again.
if they really
I am so tired. You never sleep.
That's what
last night.
Amy had
had me up at like 3 a.m. I'm like, why are you awake? Go sleep.
Amy had hers 12 weeks before me, and I'm like, my husband and I started trying, we had fertility issues, so we ended up going the IVF route. But if I would have had a kid 5 years prior to when we first started trying,
I would have never had kids.
seriously. Amy's experience, I mean, just her daughter was just so different from what mine was. So I was like gearing up. I mean, I was like, okay, I'm gonna need my mom for 3 months. I'm not gonna sleep ever.
Because
Ever,
I would
and-
not let my mom leave for 6 weeks. Like I was like deathly afraid of her leaving me for 6 weeks. Like it was
What would you do without your mom? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do without my mom.
I know, right? Your mom helps you with everything. It's so true.
I feel like my experience was like a little bit better because I already saw exactly what Amy was going
You
through.
knew
I was like every day, like
Expect.
every day I was like, oh, okay. So you have to wash bottles and then you have to do this and then you pump. And so then you only get like 30 minutes to sleep and then you have to get up again.
Okay.
Right. You just
Well,
don't
that's
sleep
good. You had 12 days.
Scott, he's
12
like,
weeks.
okay,
12 weeks of the thumps, like what to expect. I only had 9 days. That didn't help me much. We both went early. We both had preeclampsia. So I went 2 weeks early, so it wasn't that bad. But I went 6 weeks early. She was 6 weeks early, so she was, in
And
the
then-
NICU and
Wow.
stuff.
Like, so she had it easier than I did.
but still,
But
our
and
first
I
was
was back and forth to the hospital.
Going
Taking care of
to
her, right? Then taking care of her. What do you need?
Yes. That's why there's
Right.
3 of y'all.
Yep.
Yeah, there's always one not pregnant. There was
Yeah,
always
there's
always one of us not
One
pregnant.
not
But for 5 years, somebody was
Someone
pregnant.
was
the past
pregnant.
5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'll never forget, like, someone asked me for the first time, have you written any new songs lately? And I was kind of like, no.
So I have a second.
Surviving.
It is a survival.
That's what I feel.
You're just surviving.
You're right. And then, on top of writing a song, it's like, well, if I could get like at least 5 hours of sleep, maybe I could have half a brain to come up with some kind of an idea.
Did y'all have
But I get it.
trouble remembering words to nursery rhymes? I mean, I would be sitting there trying to sing my son a lullaby, and I'm like, la la chair, and the wall is red. Yeah. Like, where did my brain go? Where's Twinkle Twinkle? How does that go?
It's so true. Well, let's just hum it because mommy forgets the words.
We're just gonna
hum the melodies.
Oh, now I
don't know
can't do
anything.
that anymore. She'll call me out and be like, no, sing it.
Yeah.
Well, I would sing Dixie Chicks version of Godspeed. And at one point in time, I finally like played her the real version. And then she only wanted that version.
No, mommy no sing.
Daddy, I can sing, but can you play it on your phone? I'm like, no. We're not gonna play it. I will sing or it's nothing.
Oh, right. Then they start getting their own little minds.
They
Right?
get their minds and then
And they're real people.
and they're
Yeah.
real
Then
people.
they turn into real
They
people.
turn into real people and then they tell you
Yep.
no.
Your
They say
mom.
the funniest things though. They crack me up every day. And I'm like, what did you just
Oh yeah. I
say?
don't even know how to say that sentence first.
Right? Right? Yes. Yeah. So much fun. It is fun. We're having so much fun with the kids.
I
We
know.
really are. I know. Just love
April and I started a kids group, a kids band that we would sing and perform at this local little museum,
kids
kids
museum.
museum, and we do it once a month. And it was truly, and we kind of started it probably like 3 years before we had kids. But once we had our kids, we were like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. And then COVID hit, and then we haven't been able to do it. But
Aw,
we had a small an EP for it, and we were supposed to do a library tour, which sounds so silly, but for us, we were so excited. I'm like, a library
We're
tour.
like 9 a.m. gigs? Yeah, coffee. That sounds wonderful.
We go play for 30 minutes, and then we go home. Like, yes, but
Yeah.
it's so
That's
cute. But
my
now our kids are like the perfect age for that music, and so now when we sing it, we're kind of thinking it in a totally different way of like how we would actually write it, and then how it really does connect, because like our kids will even request no April and Amy songs, sing an April and Amy song, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Anything that has
thank you.
movement. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh,
that's adorable.
That is so
That is
cute.
really, really
I bet
awesome.
that's so much fun to
Oh, that's so cool.
to sit with your kids and sing.
Yeah.
I mean, our kids are always singing our new music, which is great, because then it kind of, it's like, it almost
It's like
gives
a
you
little
like,
test.
okay,
All
this
right.
is a good, it's
Yes.
a catchy
Might be
melody, a good song because the kids are starting to sing it.
Mhm.
Right.
So,
Or they'll be like,
Yeah.
Mommy, I don't like that song.
yeah.
Like,
Mommy, no. Yeah.
They'll tell you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
they-
Uh-huh.
They're good. They're a good little
Or what
test.
about that lyric, like sugar going on like crazy?
Oh,
Because her son is addicted to sugar. Okay, like all he does is want
Oh.
like candy, lolly. I'm like,
And I'm like,
Christine.
you got sugar going on like crazy.
And I'm like, oh, that's a good
Oh,
song.
that's a good line.
Good lyric.
Right? So we used it. They inspire me in all different ways.
Yeah,
Put it in a song.
Yeah.
Is he gonna get writing credit?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I'll have to say. I'll think about it. Depends how good he is.
Only when he turns 18.
You're like, you were inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay, you inspired.
Inspired. So cute.
Hey, Scott.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Yeah, don't mind me. Don't mind me. I'm just no. To be honest with you, I like these one. Hey, believe me, when I connect guests who have never met each other, I love seeing them do stuff like this. So it's nice for me to just sit back and watch it happen. So yeah, believe me, I don't know anything about. I'm almost. What? Say again. What
Oh,
did you say?
go ahead. That was a question. Go ahead.
I'm actually 44. I don't have any kids, so I don't know exactly. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I can tell you one. I can tell you one thing that's kind of interesting, though. I told you guys earlier I had 2 younger sisters. There was a point where I was kind of upset with my parents for I felt like they had been harder on me than they were on my 2 sisters, and I pointed this out as an adult one time to somebody who I was talking with, and they said to me, "Scott, aren't you the oldest?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Well, Scott, with you, they didn't know what they were doing."
True.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, there you go."
Yeah,
So-
That's
So
true.
true.
The first
Yeah.
one, you're like the strictest, and
Yeah.
And you
know,
don't
you don't
really-
know what you're
You
doing.
think you know,
Right.
and
Right.
then in the end you realize I really had no idea. I
Right.
had no clue what I was doing.
Speaking of having an idea of something, and since we're talking about parents anyway, okay, so we got April and Amy, and then we got Christine, Cynthia, and Carolyn. Question, I always ask this. Does anybody know what it is about parents of multiples and alliteration names? Because I meet so many twins and triplets who always name their parent, who always have the same first letter of their name. I find that more often than not. I mean, there are like Taylor Red, who I told you guys about. Their names are Natalie, Nicole, and Nika. So
Right.
I just,
Right.
does anybody have any idea? I mean,
Why that? I don't know.
I don't know.
yeah.
Is there a story behind your names?
There's no really.
I
I mean, maybe they're like, well, we're having like multiples. We should do something creative with the
Right.
names,
Right.
maybe. Like if you think about it.
I mean, I
like, know my parents said they wanted to do like an A, B, C,
Yeah.
right? And they couldn't think of anything
With a B name.
that they liked
for a
for a B name. So then they went with all
C's.
C's because then, well, I'm named after like
A best friend.
a best friend, or
And
your name
cousin.
I'm named after a cousin,
Right,
and then
so-
they like the name Christine. So
It's just
And
so
if they don't do alliteration, sometimes they'll do rhyming names. 2 twins that I had on here, Stephen and
Right.
Kevin, but Stephen is not spelled with an E, it's spelled with an I. So it's Stevin, and Kevin is Kivin. So it's like
okay.
it's like there's this subconscious thing about parents who have multiples. So like
Yeah.
the names have got to
Yeah.
be similar for some reason.
Well, I feel
Go
like a lot of our friends, their kids, even if they're not, they're just siblings in general. They end up doing
they
that.
did that. Yeah.
So
Yeah, okay.
it
Like
wasn't,
same initials.
yeah, it wasn't like a twin or triplet thing. It was just they always pick with the same letter for their kids. I don't know.
yeah, maybe it's maybe a sibling thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, my
No.
sisters' names are Becky and Rachel, so our parents didn't do that.
Yeah, they went on
Yeah,
their
well,
own.
anyway, so one thing I wanted to give you all a chance here to do is because we are, unfortunately, as I mentioned to you earlier, I have a singing telegram I have to get to, so we are getting down to the cutoff time that I gave to myself for this. It's been fun just to introduce you. I like being a bridge builder. What can I say? I like talking. I like interviewing people who don't know each other, who you kind of just look at and you say, I think these people would get along if I introduced them. So that's one thing. This has been fun for me. If people who are watching this want to check out your music, I want to give both groups here a chance to mention it so that they can check it out. Who would like to go first? Where would? Yeah, Barbadoro. If people want to hear your music, like I know you have one song called "Lipstick" that I listen to. Where can people find? I'm sorry, it was just the first one I remembered.
You could check out our website, cccbarbadoro.com. And you could buy our music. The song Lipstick that you talked about is one of our newer songs. And it's fun. It's about all different shade lipsticks. It's just a fun song.
I saw the video too, and I think you each had a different color on, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of you was in green, one was in purple. What were the colors? I forget.
It was pink, purple, and blue, which
Okay.
is the colors my mom used when we were little.
And she couldn't tell
And
us
she
apart
couldn't tell
right
us
away.
apart. She would dress us in pink, purple,
Exactly.
and blue.
Smart.
Yeah.
Well, that's very creative. All right. Are those videos on YouTube as well that I saw?
Yes, they're on YouTube as well.
So Barbadoro. How do you spell? I don't have graphics here. How do you spell that?
BARBADORO.
Okay, Barbadoro. So check out the Barbadoro website and check them out on YouTube. Rankin Twins. How about you guys?
TheRankinTwins.com. Everything, the Rankin Twins. But we also have the kids' music, which is April and Amy, or April
and Amy.
Yeah.
It's Rankin, RANKIN. And
Okay.
then our photography.
I was just about to ask you about that. Go right ahead.
Is 20photography.com, and 20 is in TWINTY. Like,
Yes. So you guys, what do you guys do? You do a lot of. My sister Rachel is a photographer as well, and she does a lot of weddings and stuff. So why don't you?
we
Yeah,
just shot a wedding. this past
portraits.
weekend.
So anything like with people,
Kids.
newborns, kids, branding, seniors, yeah, and weddings.
Artists.
Yep.
Yeah. And how did you guys get involved in that?
We've always had a camera.
Okay, so you're the music instigator. She's the photography.
So
instigator.
when
Now
we
you-
Yeah, and then you guys put it
Okay.
together.
Yes,
that's how we handled the business.
Mhm.
I ran photography.
I
Amy
ran the music.
That's why I sent you, Scott. I was like, we're gonna go. I'm gonna send you over
Right.
to Amy's way. I wasn't trying to be mean, but I was like,
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. But the Rankin's Twin website did not have a phone number. The photography one did. And at the time, I was really looking. I was trying to get in touch with a guest as soon as possible. So when that happens, you
Rankin
kind of.
Twins side, I didn't give him my phone number.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Photography,
Yeah.
it's more of a personal thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Fair enough. So you were saying that April is the one. So how did that?
We have always had a camera. I mean, my mom, I think, loved photography, like even in high school and stuff. So she always let us have those disposable cameras and we'd take them everywhere. And then in college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted a degree from A&M. Why? I don't know. I just chose that because probably
I
Amy
was
wanted
there,
to, and we had friends there, so, but they didn't have a very good liberal arts program. So I just chose something and decided, okay, if I want to do something in the arts, which was graphic design in my head, I'll go after. And then
You'll take electives.
take a class. Well, I quickly realized I am not good at graphic design. So I changed that. And I was like, I want to be real good at whatever I do. And I love photography. And they had one class and that I got to take. It was still, it wasn't digital though. So I was horrible in the darkroom. I mean, I ruined almost all of the negatives. Like I'd get like 1 or 2 photos from the whole strip of taking Amy's picture, like at the park or something. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, we're doing digital. And I got my first camera right as my graduation gift out of college. And then just kind of slowly did it on the side. Friends were starting to get married, engaged, stuff like that. And yeah, it just like went off real quick. And we were living in Dallas. Yeah. What?
And then we decided to move to Austin to pursue the music thing. And I had just, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor in 2008. And so that like right after I had 2 surgeries, and then right after that, I wrote one of my first songs called Headaches and Heartbreaks, which was the title track of our first album. And then April and I were like, what are we doing? Like life is short, like we put everything in perspective for us. And we said, we need to be in Austin. We need to be centralized. We want to pursue this music thing. We've got photography that we're still going to do. And so we moved to Austin in early 2009, and then hit the road in 2010. And with our first single, did our first radio tour. And then in the last,
quit our day job. We hadn't made it.
and that's kind of what we've been doing. And so all our friends were having kids. And like you said, when you don't have a kid, it's just a different beast. Like you just don't relate you don't know. You just don't know what you don't know. And so we were really focused on our careers. And then we did the kids stuff, and we were like, man, now this is really like this. I swear we were meant to do this. We were meant to do this. And we still did photography. And then we had kids. And then COVID hit. And then we haven't really performed as much since. And life is just kind of now switched more with photography full time. And we'll probably switch back. And we do a couple shows here and there, but just nothing like we used to. But
I mean, Amy has a music studio at her house and we don't even use it.
So my husband recorded our last 2 albums, and that's how we met and ended up getting married.
Oh, that's so cute.
That is
That's a
so
great
cute.
story. That's awesome.
And I swear, like I knew I was gonna, to an extent, was gonna marry my producer. Y'all, so weird. I mean, I thought it was gonna be on another level, not gonna lie, but I knew. I always thought, no, I'm waiting. And he's gonna be older, and I'm gonna marry my producer. And I did.
I did.
That's awesome.
You might all want to make sure that none of your husbands see this round table.
Funny. You guys are so cute.
Yeah, you know, when COVID hit, one of the things that I will never forget about COVID hitting, about 4 months before COVID hit, I got tired of living hand to mouth and just trying and not being able to turn down any gigs as a magician or a costume person. So I finally decided to become an Uber Eats driver. And I don't even want to think about where I would be if I had not done that before COVID, because it's the reason why I didn't go broke. And it's the reason why I never had to go on welfare, because I was doing that. And I was amazed at how quickly birthday parties came back. There was actually a new term. There was a new term invented in the magic community, contactless magic, which was basically you would do a magic show, but if you used any volunteers, they wouldn't come up on stage. You would do tricks where people would help you from their seat. So.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
we went to a birthday party last year
Mhm.
and that had a
Magician.
musician.
People always do that. People always do that.
Yeah, it was contactless. It was great though. It was so much fun. We loved it.
Yeah. I even came up with a trick that I do with a COVID mask, believe it or not. And of course, I told you I used the whole Mario show I do came up with was
Oh, yeah.
kind of become the COVID mask. So, but anyway, you'll have to forgive me. I'm sorry, getting a little. I'm the host here. I'm not supposed to be talking about myself. So.
No, we love it.
What?
We need to know about you.
What'd you say?
I said we love it. We need to know about you too.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Well, anyway, one thing that I don't hope I don't put anybody on the spot here. And if you want to decline this, that is perfectly fine. But with the couple minutes I have left here, I believe in the time I have followed or been friends with all of you ladies on Facebook, I think I have seen at least 1 or 2 occasions where some of you have done some impromptu a cappella. Does anybody want to give our viewers here a little taste of what they would be in for if they visited your sites or listened to your music?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. I want to hear y'all for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay. Triplets first. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay. Let me get
Okay,
you.
this is a song that we wrote. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a while, and it's Wishes. Wasting My Wishes. We were on the David Chappelle show, and probably oh my gosh, I don't know how long ago that was. And he was so cool. He was such a cool guy. And in between takes, he was like, "What do you guys do?" We're like, "Oh, we're singer-songwriters." He's like, "Let me hear something." So we sang the song Wishes. It was our new song we had written at the time. And he's like, "I love it." He's like, "When I say hit it, girls," he's like, "Sing, just sing." So he completely rewrote the script and before you know it, we sang a little clip on the Chappelle show. David Chappelle show. It's called Wasting My Wishes.
Right.
Wishful thinking only seems to come by in my dreams. If I had one wish tonight, I'd wish away for you. Stars always tell the truth. We're not something from the start. Boy, you know it's hard, both wishing from the same star, but I feel like I'm still too far. It could be true if we had the same dreams, but still wishing from the same place. Your tall dark looks give me dreamy eyes. One glance at you gives me butterflies. But tell me, am I wasting my wish? Running through the raindrops, wishing that you would stop, catching up with feelings I never knew. I'd be wasting all my wishes on you. Wasting all my wishes, wasting all my wishes on you. Na 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 na. Wasting my wishes, na 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 na. Wasting my wishes.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool to see three of y'all. It's like the facial expressions are the same, and y'all go in and out of each other. I love it, love it.
We always wish we had a triplet.
I know we do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll join groups. We can join groups. Yeah, we'll do a song together.
Oh, that's amazing.
cool.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We actually wrote a country song. I think you guys would
Oh,
love.
we have an awesome country
It's
song.
called "I Need a Good Man."
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, we're getting fancy now here. We have a good
We'll
time.
have to get. That'll be another time.
Yeah.
All right.
See
Cool.
me crying or just
I don't know.
What?
Jezebel or see me cry. Let's do see me cry.
Okay. Normally we'll have that twin thing. We'll look at each other and be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be on the same page. And then some days we're like, wait, what did you say? Across the stage. Then I'm like, wait,
Hold
what
on.
does that look?
Sign language at this point.
Well, this one is we wrote this song, and it's called See Me Crying because it's basically about getting over, that
Not crying anymore over
Yeah,
a guy.
like you're done, you had your moment of feeling bad, but now it's time to get over it. Cardboard box packed on the floor, things are yours, I don't need no more, I need a clean break, clean slate without a trace of you. What'd you think that I'd do? Bet you thought you'd see me crying, curled up in a ball, just dying, like the sky's gonna fall, falling apart, a broken heart, giving out on me. I'll be damned if this breakup ruins any more of my makeup. So if you're looking for a tear, you won't find it here. No, you won't see me crying. No. Well, now this river's all dried up. I guess you and me both ran out of luck, and there's no hard feelings, no bad blood. There's no going back to the way it was. It's just the way it is. I bet you thought you'd see me crying, curled up in a ball, just dying, like the sky's gonna fall, falling apart, a broken heart, giving out on me. I'll be damned if this breakup ruins any more of my makeup. So if you're looking for a tear, you won't find it here. No, you won't see me crying. No. Well, I've been lying, said it didn't hurt. Can't say we were the real thing. We know we weren't. I bet you thought you'd see me crying or dying, falling apart, a broken heart, giving out on me. I'll be damned if this breakup ruins any more of my makeup. So if you're looking for a tear, you won't find it here. No, you won't see me crying. No. Oh, you won't see me crying. No. No, you won't see me crying. No. No.
All That was very nice, ladies. That was off your Good Vibes album, right?
Yeah.
'Cause I did remember listening to that one.
That was great.
Well,
Oh,
Well, this has been a lot of fun, and I thank you guys for joining me here on the Great Scots Roundtable. On behalf of the group Barbadoro and the Rankin Twins, check out their websites, therankintwins.com and cccbarbadoro.com. Thank you, ladies, for being here, and everybody out there, thanks for joining us, and have a great day. This is the Great Scott from the Great Scots Roundtable.